Are you wasting money on broad match PPC campaigns without even realizing it? Well, I'm about to show you a simple trick to maximize your audience reach while still maintaining a pretty relatively low ACOS. And this is known as Amazon's Broad Match Modifier. So as you know, Amazon has three match types. We have a broad, we have a phrase, and an exact. Well, Amazon doesn't directly put another one here, but there's another category called a broad match modifier, which is sort of a mix between a broad and an exact match campaign. Now, if you don't know exactly what each of these three are, I'll quickly go over it. So in this example, I'm gonna use the term football gloves. Now, if this was an exact match, this term would only come out as football gloves. You put an exact bid, Amazon will only showcase football gloves for people searching for football gloves. Now, if we do a phrase is a little bit different. So a phrase has to contain these two words, but it can be in different orders. So it can be something like gloves for football, or football gloves for winter. So it has to include those phrases, but it can be in different orders. Now, the last one is a broad campaign. And a broad campaign can be in a lot of different ways. So for football gloves, it can be like football cleats, accessories for football. It can be for gloves, it can be gloves for winter. So it's very broad. It can be, so like for example, football gloves, it can give you a variety of words for football and also a variety of words for gloves. But the issue is that this can, it can be very wide and broad. So it can bring in audiences that are not looking for your direct product. And this can cause your ACOS to go high. So this is where Amazon's broad match modifier comes in. And this is the fourth match type Amazon does not tell you about. So what exactly is the broad match modifier? Well, this is a tool or feature that's typically used in Google Ads, but it is a part of PPC, but it is not just out there for people to just click regularly. So pretty much what it is if I go back to campaigns, if we're using the term football gloves, and let's say, for example, we just launched a football glove and we want to get a lot of keywords related to this product. Obviously, we know for an exact campaign, we're going to run football gloves, but this is going to be a little bit expensive. And for phrase, we're going to have different phrases of that term. But for broad, we're going to use it to find a lot of different keywords, make a keyword list after, find which keywords are working well, and then create those in exact campaigns. Well, if you don't want to be super aggressive and sort of have a high ACOS, you can sort of filter this out. So what I mean by this is, let's say for football gloves, we really want to just focus on the football audience, okay? Not just the gloves, but maybe people searching for football cleats, football hat, football t-shirt, so on, so forth. So if we wanted to focus heavily on football, we would put a plus in front of it. Now, what this would do is, for every broad match keyword that it applies to our product, the term has to include football. So it can be football, football track, football cleat, football jersey, so on and so forth. So now we stay in that realm. So it's not exactly the glove. Versus if we do football and we put a plus in front of the gloves, now it's going to go more towards the glove side. Now it's an exact match for gloves. So gloves for gardening, gloves for sports, not maybe just football, gloves for winter, so on and so forth. And then if we put a plus between both of them, now it has to give broad matches for both of these keywords. So football gloves for winter, sporting accessories, football gloves, football gloves for spring, NFL football gloves, a lot of different terms. So this is perfect if you are just launching a new product and you don't want to waste so much money on advertising. This gives you leeway while still, finding a lot of different keywords for a product without being too broad. So it's a perfect way to just get a lot of keywords that are very specific to your niche. Okay, so what's the best use for a broad match modifier? As I said, it can increase your reach with some control still. So this is perfect because unlike broad match, this form ensures that your ad only shows where the modified keyword is present in the customer's search query. So like I said, for football gloves, a broad match, what might trigger best gloves for winter. And if someone clicks that and you're a football glove, you're going to be wasting lots of money on ads and your ACOS is going to go high. So in order to, filter this out and keep your ACOS relatively low, you add the plus between both of them and it gives you words like gloves for football players, which is perfect. Another perfect use case for this is that it helps you discover long tail keywords. So if we just filter out the data and make sure to include these keywords, it can help you find long tail keywords that include just these two terms, like football gloves for spring, if the data shows that we're converting well for this, then we can get that keyword and also put it in an exact match while still keeping these campaigns running. So we want to use this for keyword research and later move the high performing search terms to an exact match. Another benefit is that it can increase your ad visibility for very niche products. So example, let's say we had a glow in the dark football glove. This is very, very, very niche, right? Just glow in the dark. So if we were launching this, but we want to find a lot of keywords related to this still, you could add the plus to the glow in the dark football gloves. And then it's only going to find variations for this, like the material for glow in the dark football gloves, so on and so forth. So if you want to be really niche and just not waste a lot of money on advertising, while this might not give you the most sales, it will be the most profitable way for you to figure out what keywords work for you. Fourth thing, it's a lower ACOS while maintaining volume, because it's still a broad campaign at the end of the day, and a broad campaign will find lots and lots of different keywords. So it's perfect. Compared to a pure broad match campaign, this reduces wasted spending on super irrelevant clicks and it improves your conversion rates. The best way to explain this is that it's more cost efficient than a broad match campaign, but it doesn't give you as much of a reach, but it still gives you a larger audience than an exact match. It's a perfect balance between these two. So for example, let's say we were selling a running shoe and we put that into a broad campaign. Well, now it's going to find keywords like best dress shoes or dance shoes, something like that, where you're going to waste spend, and then you're going to go back in the data and filter it out. Versus if we just put a plus in between the two keywords, it's going to ensure that it's only running and shoes. So you won't be filtered for a best dress shoes or just an audience that is literally not your audience. So it's a perfect way to just filter it all out. Okay, when do you want to use a broad match modifier? Like I said, when you are launching a new product and you're just gathering data, and it's more cost effective. If you have a bigger budget, then you can go for a broad match and just go all over the place and then analyze the data, then extract it. But if you want to maintain your ACOS and don't be too crazy, this is a perfect way to filter it out and just be as accurate as possible. It's also a perfect way when you want to scale an already performing campaign with more reach. So for example, if you already have the data within your campaigns and you know what converts well, you can add the plus in between these keywords, because let's say, for example, running shoes, and you know the word running converts really well for your product. You want to maximize that. So you always want to add a plus in front of the running, because that's super relevant to your product and it converts well. You also want to use it when your broad match keywords are just too generic, leading to wasted ad spend. So like I said, this pretty much simplifies the entire process so that you know and you can be as specific as to what keywords you want to target. Okay, when do you want to avoid a broad match modifier? Well, like I said, if your budget is very, very limited and you know exactly what your audience is, then you would want to stick to like an exact or phrase match, because you don't want to waste a lot of money on broad campaigns. This is also very related to if your product is super, super niche. If you're super, super niche, you know exactly what are the keywords that are super related to your product. So you can have like I said, if we have a glow in the dark football glove, we know how niche that is. So you would just target those keywords. So this is also an area where you would not want to use a broad match modifier. Also, you would not want to use it if you're already getting too many irrelevant clicks from your broad campaigns and it's just not working well. You just come back and you're going to have to negative all this stuff out. So let me know your thoughts on this. If you already knew about the broad match modifier, if you use it for your current brand, I'd love to hear more about it. It's a very cool tool if you know exactly what you want to target and which keywords will convert the best for you. Now, if you're interested in growing your brand on and off Amazon, my team excels in this. So if you're interested, my team can give you a free in-depth audit analyzing your brand, your competitors, your cost per click, and what the best strategy is for you to scale. So link in the bio for a free audit on our website. You simply put your ASIN in. My team will hit you up within a day or two going over all that. And let's do this.